Garlic this time of year is the one thing that everybody is pretty much focused on. When the snow flies and the freezing temps come in from, the north, that's exactly when people are worried about planting their garlic. But the problem becomes what happens when you either run out of time or space to plant your garden for the long cold winter. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm doing to try to remedy that situation and maybe even set myself up in the spring for basically all the garlic I want. Hey guys, it's your boy Big Will Dog 82 in the soil. And I ended up having an interesting problem with hashtag garlic 2026 coming up next year. I've got garlic everywhere. I've got it in pots in my raised bed for protection over the winter. I've got 2 full tiers of my green stalks planted with garlic. I even got more garlic in pots that are in my garage. I'm just running out of room. I ran out of pots and I'm getting low in soil. So I had a thought, and this thought could potentially save what garlic I've got left. I mean, I've still got some, and this is just one. I've got some broken up in bags over here. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but you know what? We're going to give it a try. And let's see if it can sort of kind of save this garlic and then have all the possibilities that we want come spring. I thought, what if I was to take a container that you would normally start planting in the spring, and instead of taking a plant and transplanting it into it, what if I was to fill this up with soil, take some of my garlic that I still have here, cloves, put it into said soil, and then stuck it out in my garage where it stays cold since it's unheated until come spring. Once my beds are planned out and everything, I can sit there and put the garlic into spots that I have available throughout my garden. Okay, so here we are, and I've got one of my containers filled with soil already. And as you can see, barely, there's my bone meal that I add, and then this is actually my own worm castings. So what we're going to do is go ahead and plant this garlic into this container. And I also wanted you to notice the fact that this garlic is already sprouting. So one way or another, I need to get this into the ground. So this is my workaround. And you guys are going to be able to follow along with me come spring to see whether or not this turns out. But for the time being, this is the plan of action. So we're going to take a little bit of the bone meal. I do this for just when I'm planting normally anyways. A little bit of bone meal. And then we add a little helping of worm castings. We're going to mix that up a little bit. Then take our clove here, making sure it's faced up, sticking it in. It doesn't really matter how deep it is because it's not really going outside. It's staying in the garage that stays pretty cold, especially when there's ice and snow. It's not heated, so it's going to get the vernalization while it's out there. It just won't be seeing the temps that you would normally get if it's outside. As long as it stays under, I believe it's 40 degrees, this process can work, in theory. But that's the whole point of doing this experiment. Hopefully, this will work. And then, on top of that, if any of you wind up in the same situation, now or in the future, maybe this can maybe save your season. So, we're going to go ahead and top this up with soil, farm it in, and after that, you just water it in. And then, like I said, once this is watered in, it will sit out in the garage. I will obviously have to check on it from time to time to make sure that it has moisture. But the way I'm looking at it, I'd rather try this and it fail than not try it and waste my garlic. Alright, now that we have those planted, you can also see that I went ahead and I had some garlic chives that I wanted to go ahead and grow inside, so that's what this is. Don't mind that. So one of the most important parts we have left to do is labeling. So let's do that real quick before we water everything in. Alright, now that we've got all the pots done for right now, we need a decent sample size in order to run an experiment and get anything that's going to be, you know, a conclusion. These are separate pots that are different sizes, and that was done on purpose. And again, this is only some of the ones that I have. The other ones are already out in the garage where these ones are going to go to. Alright guys, so that's the experiment, and hopefully everything turns out with the best possible outcome. Again, I'm not telling people to do this instead of planting them in the ground. All I'm saying is, if you're out of space like I am, then you don't really lose anything for trying to get your garlic to spring and have the possibility of placing them in certain spots to fill up room, or just things that you hadn't thought of before you had started planting your garlic. So it's late in the fall here, things are frozen outside. My only real option is in the garage, and I'm hoping that everything turns out. But if you're interested in what's going on with this, or if you're even interested in hashtag garlic 2026, there's videos about that on my channel, as well as my buddy Chad at Down Home Backyard Gardening's channel, and all the info is there. It's pretty easy challenge to get into, and we had a lot of fun with it last year. Hopefully everything turns out. I think it will. I'm thinking positive, and I can't wait this whole, 3 months to see what happens. But hey, we're in it. So with that, I'm Big Wheel Dog 82 in the soil, and I'm out here, guys. See you later.